Alright, in this video, I want to get a little bit more into a couple of things here. One is Israel. I already did a video about how there's true Israel and a fake Israel. And I also made a video talking about Gene Kim and his errors. Well, one of them was that he won't speak out about anything wrong that the nation of Israel is doing. Just kind of dismisses that and ignores it. And I think that again has to do with being part of the 501c3 organization. You can't talk about anything against the state of Israel. Just how it goes, or you lose your tax exempt status, right? So I gave him a chance to actually explain it by listening to one of his videos about the synagogue of Satan revealed. And I was like, okay, oh, he's going to actually call this out. And you got to keep in mind that the synagogue of Satan is separate from the church, because the only time the synagogue of Satan is mentioned is in the book of Revelation in chapters 2 and 3. I think it's mentioned in talking to the church of Philadelphia, and I think it's Smyrna. I'm not quite sure. I think it's the second church and the second to last church. And that makes it an obvious separation from the church, because it says that they are Jews. They're not Jews, that they just call themselves Jews, right? They call themselves Jews, but they're not. But it also says that they're of the synagogue of Satan. Not the church, the Christian church is not part of a synagogue, are they? Right? I don't think any Christian church calls their church a synagogue. Not to my knowledge, anyway. Well, this Gene Kim fella, he wants to say that the Jews who are not Jews in the synagogue of Satan are actually those who replace Israel, the ones that, the Christians who think they replace Israel, who they replace the Jews. And I was like, wow. And I should have brought up a couple of things that I didn't. I should have had already up here, but it's my bad. Something I should get into. You know what? I'll load it up when I get to it. But here, I want to bring up Matthew 11. And at verse 11 it says, Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there has not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. So what is he talking about here? Well, Jesus came to set up the kingdom of heaven. He came as the son of David, the rightful king of the Jews, and they rejected him as king as they put up on his cross, like, here's Jesus of Nazareth, king of the Jews. And they denied him as king. They said, we have no king but Caesar, right? Well, they were trying to take the kingdom of heaven by force. As we see here in Matthew chapter 21, we have the parable of the wicked tenants. Israel are the wicked tenants, right? And he talks about sending his servants, and they keep killing his servants, which is Israel killing the prophets, right? And he says, but when the husbandmen saw the son, because he decides he's going to send his son to him, they said among themselves, this is the heir. Yeah, Jesus is the heir, the son of David. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. You see how they're trying to take the kingdom by force, right? And he talks about he's the stone which the builders rejected, and he is become the head of the corner, right? So anyway, just a quick thing here, talking about the Jews and their blindness. In Romans chapter 11, it says, For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of the mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness is blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles come in, right? This is the dispensation of grace that started at Pentecost in Acts and will end at the rapture, right? Well, in Luke chapter 21, we read about something I brought up in my last video about when Jerusalem is compassed with armies, to get out, right? And it says here about what happened in 70 AD, where the Romans destroyed Jerusalem. It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. This is talking about the Jews. And it says, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And the times of the Gentiles is not fulfilled. For starters, we need the rapture. The rapture, the time of the fullness of the Gentiles comes in at that point. It goes back to being under the law and no longer under grace, right? And then the Gentiles' time is not done, because in Daniel, it talks about the time of the Gentiles. It depicts it in Daniel chapter 2 as when Babylon took over Israel. And that does not end until the feet of iron and clay, when the Messiah, the rock, which Jesus said he was, the stone which they rejected, he comes down and he smashes the feet and he establishes the kingdom. From there, he draws all the elect from the four corners. Even Jews speak out against how the nation of Israel is causing anti-Semitism. It's causing hate towards the Jews because they believe that the Messiah is going to come and establish the kingdom and draw all the Jews to Jerusalem, not man. And they are trying to take it by force, which is exactly what Jesus was saying they're doing. But Jesus says that he takes the kingdom from them and he gives it to another nation, to the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. It's not fulfilled yet. So the synagogue of Satan, the Jews who say they're Jews but they're not, is what we are seeing right now. And it's not those who claim to be Jews who are Christians. You see, we are told as Christians that we're grafted into Israel. So if we say we're part of Israel, that is not a lie. But it's more of a spiritual sense. We have to admit that. The same way here, it's a spiritual sense, since it says right here in the Spirit, where it says, for he is not a Jew which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart in the Spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men but of God. Now, this doesn't do away with physical Jews. It's basically saying the physical Jew is a metaphor for something that's in the spiritual, right? Because he's saying that the true Jew is the spiritual Jew, but that doesn't do away with the physical Jew. Because the physical Jew is a representation for us to see what's in the Spirit. Since we can't see in the Spirit, we have to go by faith. But God gives us a physical representation so that we can understand it. Right? But anyway, well, let's add to this. I should have brought this up already, had it ready. But I forgot about it, and it just came to me now. I'm pretty sure it's in Amos. And the other one is in Acts. But I can't remember where it actually is in Acts. Just give me a second to load this up. Let's go to KJV. I think it's by chapter 4. Nope, before the council. It's about Stephen. When Stephen gets stoned, and I can't remember what chapter that is. I know it's in the first half somewhere. Also, the rest is possible for the council. It might be the next one. Yep. Nope, the seven chosen to serve. I thought I said Stephen. There we go. Stephen arrested. Uh, okay, here he's starting to go on his speech here. This is at the end of his speech is what I want to get into. So let's go to 7. He talks about, he even starts all the way at Abraham. He tells the story of Israel, right? Yeah, I recommend reading what he has to say to the Jews, because they pick him up at stones and stone him to death. You want to know why they got pissed off and why they killed him. Because he didn't say anything wrong. He didn't say anything that was a lie. But what he did say exposed them. Trying to go down here. Ah, here we go. Right here. This is where he quotes what I'm about to get into in the Old Testament. Let's go over here. I think this is chapter 5, if I remember right. Lament for Israel, a call to repentance. Okay, I think, yep, right here at the bottom. Okay, so let's look at how Stephen got stoned here. He's talking to the Jews, right? And he talks about the history of Israel. He's paraphrasing. He's going fast through it. Obviously, he's not going in all the detail, right? And he says, then God turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven. There's a key there, the host of heaven. As it was written in the book of the prophets, O ye house of Israel, have ye offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness? Yea, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch. Moloch is still a deity worshipped in Bohemian Grove. And the star, here's another key thing, the star of your god Rephan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. What is the star of your god Rephan? This is the key here. What is this? Do a Bible search for the Star of David. You're not going to find a Star of David. You're going to find a Star of Rephan, though. Let's go to Amos, but before we do, let's make sure. Let's put in Star of David. Just in case I just don't remember. I don't think there's anything about a Star of David. Let's talk about the morning star, the stars in the sky. Let's just quickly go through. A lot of these things I don't even see the word star in it. And there's going to be a ton of stuff with David's mentioned. So this might go on for a while. Just skimming. And like I said, you're not going to find anything of a Star of David because it's not there. But before we get into this, let's go to the Strong's Concordance when we're reading this, so you can see for yourself. I might even do a Google search to show you about who this is. See, he quotes Amos 5. Have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch in Shunyun, your images, the star of your God which ye made to yourselves. Therefore will I cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, saith the Lord, whose name is the God of hosts. That's weird. I thought it said Rephaim here. Maybe it's in another chapter of Amos. But let's take a look here. You know what? I forgot how it's spelled, so I'm going to have to go back to Acts 7 and show you who this is. Right here. Rephaim. Let's see if we can find something come up real quick. First, we'll see if I can find them. It sucks because this KGV stuff doesn't always pop up in this. It does this time, but only in Acts. That sucks. But you can tell that Stephen was quoting from Amos. And I think this guy might be the same name for Rephaim. But let's go to a DuckDuckGo search, not a Google search. See if there's something here that shows you. So because I know it represents Saturn. Oh, look at that, Star of Rephaim. Somebody already has it, Saturn, and this shows a pole of Saturn here, and it looks like a hexagon. Right? That's the inside of the star. The 6-point star represents Saturn. Saturn is Satan, and you know what we read about in Amos and in Acts is that they started to worship the host of heaven. Oh, this one looks like it might have some good things on right here. But you know what? I think I'm going to go to images to see if it shows some good ones, because I don't know if that one is big enough to show up. Yeah, not the Star of David. See, there we go. A lot of stuff on this. It's the Star of Rephaim. Perfect. This is probably what I'm going to use. Oh, it's weird that it shows the Pope there. I wish I had that, but without the Pope. But yeah. You can find all kinds of things on this, that it's not the Star of David. And it's weird that they would have his star there and not like a menorah or something. I think I'm going to use this as the thumbnail. Oh yeah, and Moloch. That's where they would give up child sacrifices like you see here. And they do mock sacrifices at Bohemian Grove to Moloch, who's depicted as a giant owl and sometimes as a giant bull. I want to see if there's anything. There we go. This is perfect. Just what I wanted. So yeah. Oh, I love this one. It actually brings up Amos and Acts. This is the synagogue of Satan. They're actually using his star. It's not Christians who believe they are Israel or that they're Jews. They're not the synagogue of Satan. And technically they are Jews, spiritually Israel. So they're not preaching some kind of lie. These people, on the other hand, are of their father the devil, like Jesus said. Like they go around trying to convert people, making them twice the child of hell that they are. He calls them vipers. So, yeah, just another rebuke to Gene Kim and all those pastors who won't say a thing about the state of Israel. So anyway, thanks for watching and take care.